there's people pleasing, right? And then there's people pleasing. This screams entitlement and no intelligence to me. And maybe that's a really sassy thing to say, but it's comments like this that make my blood boil. Oh, why do I feel like I've been controversial? I'm not here for this kind of petty drama. You're through to 1-800-DRAMA, the show where you share your biggest dilemmas and I help you navigate them. I'm Shaaba, and with your help,
and sometimes mine,
let's help people figure out if they are the drama, because sometimes you just need an outside perspective and we can all expand our own mindsets along the way. Are you ready to dive deep into the a-holes? Let's go. Hi peaches, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another episode. It's Monday, you know what that means. It is time for us to go fishing for a hoalaza. Why? I don't think I've done this intro for a while, but you know, the brain just went with it. So who am I to interrupt? Because it's a little bit of fun, it's a little bit of juicy drama. We can hopefully help a couple people out along the way. What is not to love? Just before we dive in though, may I please remind you that I make a music. Not only do I make music, I've recently been making music videos and you can check out the one for Weird. Have you seen it? Did you love it? I loved it. I'm very proud of this one. And you can also check it out for Ouija, which is my newest Halloween video. It just felt very fitting around Halloween. I'm writing new music as well at the minute. We're going to be releasing soon. You know the drill. So check them out if you want to. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel because it's entirely free and it really, really helps support creatives like myself. But now let's see if we can help out this OP who asks, am I the drama for telling my wife that if she has no money, that means no honeymoon? What? I'm intrigued. I feel like this could go incredibly entitled, incredibly ridiculous. I was going to say incredibly like misogynistic, but it's weird to me because this is a wedding. You've just come together. And I don't know, maybe this is pre-wedding. Why don't I shut up so we can actually read the post? I think that's a good idea. Let's go. OP says 28. Oh, 1 second. OPs say yeah. There's two. 28-year-old man and a 28-year-old woman here. We've both known each other for 5+ years and we got married in March. Congratulations, my loves. Let's see if we can help OPs out. I think this is the first time that we're seeing a post from two people. I love that though. There should be more of that. I feel like if more people wanted to try and understand a situation together, well, one, there'd be less posts because that means people are communicating more. And secondly, I don't know, I just think we get to see more of a balanced perspective because both people are going into it. I love this. Why haven't we seen this before? Let's go. We both work, says OPs, and have a joint account for house bills and investments. The rest stay in our respective personal accounts for individual use and control. That sounds unbelievably standard. This is a setup that I have. This is a setup that I know 99% of my couple friends have. It doesn't sound damaging so far. We earn roughly the same, but I end up saving around $1,500 above while she, so the man in the situation, whereas the wife in the situation barely saves anything, as she often consumes unnecessary and cute, in bunnies, cute Instagram products. Look, personal judgments aside, because whenever this happens, one word comes into my head. I bet you won't be able to guess what that word is. Jelly Belly. The Jelly Belly candy company, they do like all sorts of jelly bean flavored things, I think, you know, like lip balms. That's the thing that comes to my mind because my sister back in the day, she's one of them. I have many sisters. One of my sisters loved the idea of the Jelly Belly lip balm kit and it was like 20 quid and it had like 8 lip balms in it, and I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Who in their right mind wants to spend £20 on these stupid little lip balms? You're gonna lose them, they're gonna go in the car. I don't know how these things travel. They grow legs and they move when you're not looking. I swear to you, they are in cahoots with the headphones that always get tangled up in your bag. And my point is, I didn't see the point in spending the money on that until I had therapy, not about this situation, but the situation came up and I was like, oh my god, it doesn't matter. What I want is not what everyone wants, and that doesn't therefore mean that it's the only right thing to want. Other people can want things that are right for them and I might not understand it. I just need to respect it, right? And this is what I'm seeing here with your wife's cute Instagram products. I might not understand why somebody would want to spend any amount of money on a tripod for your phone that sticks to shiny surfaces, but she does, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that it's a wrong way to spend her money because it's her money and it's her wants. I think that was a really big life lesson for me, and I'm putting that out there as PSA because it sounds like maybe husband here needs to hear it too. Having said that, it's always a good idea to keep some money aside for savings. Whilst I'm saying that I don't think he should be judging her for spending her money that she she earns, I do think having zero savings, like barely saving anything at all, it does come with its own problems, right? You should have like a little rainy day fund. Say of the $1,500 that you both have post bills, she's saving aside a couple hundred, and then the rest she's spending on her cute Instagram products. That's fine too. Let's move on. We are planning our honeymoon to Bali and have been for months. It already feels very late. Last night we were deeply discussing it and we're getting impatient. I found a decent deal and suggested that we book it right away. I asked her to book my ticket and I would book hers. She made a smiley face and asked me to book for the both of us, saying that she would pay me back later. Okay, hang on. I just had to get a couple of things straight in my mind. The first is I'm like, you're planning your honeymoon after the wedding. I understand having your honeymoon like significantly after the wedding. Before I got married, I was definitely of the assumption that you go straight from your wedding to your honeymoon because that's what you see in all the movies. But it certainly doesn't have to be that way, and it's actually a lot easier if it's not that way, especially if you're asking your guests for a honeymoon fund contribution. If you don't want gifts of like spoons and crockery and photo frames because you've already been living together and you've already got that kind of thing, then a little honeymoon contribution is super, super sweet, and then you can wait to see what people have given you and then you can plan accordingly depending on that budget. Do you know what I mean? I think it's very cute. I think it makes so much sense because weddings are bloody exhausting and it's nice to just decompress and not go from like one of the most fun but also one of the most overwhelming days of your life straight onto a plane, you know? So I get that, but I'm confused as to why you're not together. It's really unusual for people to not be living together if you are married. So you're saying you're deeply discussing things, you're booking things, but then you're texting? What's that about? But what's most confusing is this I'll book your ticket, you book mine. Is it supposed to be like a romantic kind of thing? Because at the end of the day, it just seems a little bit silly. If you're both going to be spending the same amount for the honeymoon, that should come out of your joint account as one purchase. Also, if you book together, you book your plane tickets together. Do you know what I mean? Like you're seated together, not booking separately as two strangers. And then if it's a package deal, like what is happening with hotels? Are you booking two separate rooms? I just have so many questions about this process. It feels very bizarre to me at this point. Let's read on. Let's see if it makes more sense. So husband suggests you buy my ticket, I buy yours. She's gone, nah, you do both and I'm going to pay you back. And then husband says her idea isn't bad, but I believe that things like marriage, honeymoon, travel, kids planning should only be done when you are financially ready. So I declined the offer and I told her to wait. Interesting. So what I'm getting from this, I'm having to make an assumption. Let me know if you're also understanding it in the same way, Peach. My thinking is she's gone, I don't have the money for it right now, so you buy both and I will pay you back when I have the funds to do so. And he's gone, no, I don't like that plan. We can book it when you have the funds to put in for it. I can see it from both sides. If it's a really wonderful deal and she's like, I'm good for it, you know my paycheck comes in, I just won't be spending that money that month. And when that paycheck hits, I will put it towards this and like give you the money immediately. Just make use of the good deal now, you know, before it goes. I can understand that, but I can also understand being like, well, no, we don't need to book it straight away. There's no deadline. There's no gun to our head being like, oh, we must go on honeymoon before this time. So if this deal goes, the deal goes. I'd much rather wait until we both have the funds that we can confidently put it in and be like, yeah, this is good. We're ready. That's the financial boundary that I want to set in a relationship. You know, I can see it from both sides. She said, don't ruin the plan that we've fixed and don't be greedy because memories matter more than money. Oh, that feels a bit weird, right? Especially if saying, oh, memories matter more than money. That suggests that you're not actually planning on paying for it. That's what I would be thinking. I'm like, well, memories matter and money also matters. We're going to go on honeymoon either way. So if you're going to put the money in when you're ready to put the money in. That is a red flag, I think, from her. Husband continues, it quickly turned into a quarrel, which ended up with her saying stereotypical things like, it's a shame for a husband to not pay for the honeymoon. Men have been doing it for ages, blah, 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 blah. I can totally see why you're upset. It really pissed me off, says OP. Currently, we are not talking to each other. Who's the drama here? I need a fair perspective, thanks. Okay, I feel pretty confident that in this situation, if I've understood it correctly, because the writing hasn't been as clear, I'm of the opinion that you are not the drama and your wife is definitely the drama. Because it feels like there's been jumpers for goalposts, right? You have gone into this being like, we're both going to pay for it. And she's gone, oh, yeah, I'll pay you back. And now all of a sudden it's, but really, you should be paying for it. So I'm frustrated for the husband here on two fronts. Primarily that is a value that she has in her mind, because especially if you're married, you should be going into these things jointly. And secondly, and most importantly, she has lied to you, right? Are you seeing that in the same way? She's gone, yeah, I'll pay. And now it's being revealed that actually she never had any intentions of paying because she thinks that she shouldn't have to because you should be doing it. But then, like, say that up front. It's one thing having that view, it's another manipulating someone else into thinking they're going to get half of the money back when you're not actually intending to do that. That's not okay behavior. That's a horrible way to build the foundations of married life. I think the other reason why I'm a little bit annoyed though, and I'm just going to do like a, maybe not a moldy brownie, but a face. There you go. That's what you get. Because this is so not what the title suggested. The title made it sound that if you didn't have any kind of budget, you can't have a honeymoon. But that isn't the case at all here. And the reality is honeymoons can happen on any kind of budget. You can do a staycation honeymoon and it's really cute. I know people in the UK have honeymooned in the Isle of Wight or in places like Cornwall, and I just think that's absolutely adorable, and it can be just as meaningful and just as beautiful as going to Bali. The title made husband sound like a massive problem, whereas the post is actually making wife sound like a massive problem. And if I were in husband's position, I would want to clarify, hang on a second, you had no intentions of paying, why the hell are you lying to me? And also, I think I'd be feeling some kind of way because this understanding of like financial attitude, is that what we call it? You know, like the values that you have in life to do with how finances are spent. When you're going to a restaurant, do you Dutch the bill? Is that what you call it? Dutch? Go Dutch? Double Dutch? Something about Dutch bills means that you pay your half, right? Like your part. That's the sort of thing that I feel like you should know about someone properly before you get married. Obviously there can be curveballs thrown, and maybe this is a curveball, but I'm highly confused by the whole situation. Should we see what other people have to say? I'm not sure I'm buying this as someone. Why would you book each other's tickets if you're going to the same place? Surely you're booking a package deal for the both of you. And someone else has said, well, it's supposed to be a cutesy thing, right? That's where my head went to, that it's a cutesy thing. But I totally agree. Like, normally this is done as a package deal. And especially if you're like, oh, there's a deal that's too good to miss. I'm assuming that you're going to have to stay in a hotel if you're going to Bali. You don't have like friends or family members at Bali. You can't book a hotel room separately. At the same time, the grammar throughout the post hasn't been the best. So I feel like it all could also just be like a misunderstanding in the way that it's being communicated. Yeah, everybody sucks here for marrying each other without having a meeting of the minds about finances. Wow. Isn't that a beautiful saying? The meeting of the minds. I can just imagine these little brains like an Inside Out sitting down and being like, you drink too much Coke. You'll pay for that. Okay. Which is actually a conversation that Jamie and I had when we were students. I was like, mate, I am very happy to go halvesies with you on food bills, but there are some things that I simply do not wish to pay for. He used to drink a lot of Coke Zero. He doesn't anymore. I mean, he still drinks a lot of Coke Zero, but nowhere near as much as he used to. And to Shaaba, the student who's working 3 jobs and sometimes 4, and who was not going to splash out on branded baked beans, I was not going to spend my money on Jamie's fizzy pop. That's just not going to happen. But that's my point. You guys have those conversations beforehand and you learn things about each other. And sometimes if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So I agree that it feels like weird timing for you to be hitting your first major purchase and now arguing. This commenter says you need to sit down with a financial planner and set some goals and agree on how that you will get there together. I think that's very sweet and I think that's good advice. I also think maybe, if I'm being honest, it's a little bit excessive. Sometimes I think we can all fall into this trap of being like, you need therapy. You need this outside expert to come and tell you what to do and to do these things and sort your life out. The reality is you just need to talk to each other. Maybe you want to watch a YouTube video on it. There's so many fun finance creators who have these like downloadable spreadsheets. There's so many cool apps that help you budget and finance plan, and where you can link accounts with your partners that are absolutely free. I don't think you need to go to a financial planner, but I do think you need to have a good chit chat. Make sure you're both on the same page. A meeting of the minds. Can you tell I'm going to say that a lot now? I'm going to say that a lot for sure. Why marry someone that you're not financially compatible with? It feels harsh to say, but I do think that money is one of those things that's like a really big deal. Over 50% of married couples that end up divorcing attribute a large reason for that divorce to financial stress. That sucks. It's so sad, but absolutely having these conversations and ensuring that financial compatibility before you go into such a commitment would really, really, really help. And it's tricky, isn't it? We need some more information on this point, because I can see a world in which this is like totally out of the blue and he can be like, well, why are you saying that? But I can also see a world in which if somebody like the wife here has those kinds of attitudes like, a husband should be paying for the honeymoon, I'm struggling to see how that wouldn't also manifest itself in other aspects of life, like when you're going out on dates, like, I don't know, maybe bills or who buys the grocery shopping or whatever, like maybe her financial habits and the sort of like gender expectations that are enveloped around that have shown themselves in other ways, which should have made the husband be like, is this right? Is this right? Are we right? Do we agree on these kinds of things? So yeah, I see where this comment is coming from. But regardless of that, the wife has still lied. And I do think that even if OP should be taking some accountability for not being prepared for this lack of financial compatibility, the wife still has lied to you, and that's like just a shitty way to behave, in my opinion. Not the drama, but you have bigger problems in planning your honeymoon. You and your wife are not fiscally compatible. Unless she or you are willing to compromise, you take the role of the breadwinner, or she takes the role of equitable financial partner, or you spend your lives fighting about money. Been there, done that. Oh, no drama here. It seems like you guys haven't figured out the plan moving forward for finances. I see where this is coming from, but I also totally disagree with this badge, because this comment is absolutely forgetting the fact that she lied. That she was like, oh, cover me now, I'll pay you back later, going into, actually, no, I don't think I should be paying for this at all. Like, really? This makes sense. And this also could be contributing as to why husband had the suggestion of, no, let's wait until you do have the money and then we'll book it. Maybe something in him knew that that could be how she was going to act, and he didn't want to have to fork out for it. He didn't want that uncertainty, and I would totally understand that. Or you are the drama. Either you can afford to go as a couple or you can't. I couldn't marry a man that wouldn't want to take me on a honeymoon unless I paid half, to be honest. She has friends with that travel arrangement, but to each their own, I guess. What an interesting take. My head is ping-ponging all over the place. It's weird that you're attributing accountability, being like, no, you are the drama for not paying for the honeymoon as a man, but then being like, to each their own. And then also saying, well, you can either do it as a couple or you can't. Well, like, which is it, commenter? Which is it? This screams entitlement and no intelligence to me. And maybe that's a really sassy thing to say, but it's comments like this that make my blood boil. It really feels like that we've had an array of badges today. I'm super curious to hear what your views on this are, people listening to this episode. So let me know. Just remember to be kind down in the comments. Alright, am I the drama? Laughing out loud when my wife said the song Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters was demonic. What? Hang on a second. Has she seen the movie? The song literally exists to rid them of demons. How can the song itself be demonic? Maybe she got confused. I know what the remedy for this is. You need to sit down with your wife and have a little date night watching K-pop Demon Hunters. That's it. Call me a doctor's best prescription ever. Let's see if we can help OP out. So my wife, says OP, just got home from church and her church group and immediately said our kids should no longer be singing the song or watching K-pop Demon Hunters, saying someone in the group said that it is demonic. I don't know if it's just that my patience has dropped today. I'm working on a short fuse today. Or if it's just that my patience has run out for this kind of person overall. And I don't know if I'm being mean, but I'm gonna say it. Your wife sounds like a total f***ing idiot. Like, how? How are you coming back from a group, regardless of whether or not it's in a church, but from a group of people and being like, can't watch this movie anymore, it's demonic. And specifically saying this about a movie called K-pop Demon Hunters, right? And like having not thought of that before. Like the kind of person that it takes to know that that's the title of a movie, clearly something to do with demons, then going away and coming back having heard from other people and then being like, well, now I'm going to let these other people parent, just sounds like the mark of a really, really uninformed, silly person. I'm trying to use my words very carefully. It's just really pissing me off. Oh, let's finish the post. I just laughed, says OP, because that is outrageous. Wouldn't the song be more in line with Rumi facing her demons and seeing the light? I mean, block your ears if you don't want to hear the spoilers, but also if you haven't watched this movie yet, it's literally the most watched thing on Netflix of all time. What are you doing? The whole premise and the big plot twist is surely that being a demon doesn't define how good or bad you are as a person, right? Rumi is part demon, so yeah, it's demonic. The movie is demonic. It's called K-pop Demon Hunters. What do you expect? Heck, says OP, if I wanted to turn it into belief, golden or the light could signify God. I mean, isn't that the point? That the light signifies good? That the honeymoon is the banishing of the demons? I'm still eye-rolling as I type this. I'm not religious and I encourage my kids to make their own choice, but come on. Now she's upset and mad that I've laughed at her comment and said that it was ridiculous. Am I the drama? No. You are what some people would call reasonable. Your wife, however, is friggin' Delulu. That's what's happening. I acknowledge that you're saying that you're not religious. I acknowledge that your wife is religious and I don't have a problem with that. I value very highly the fact that you're saying that you encourage your kids to make their own choice, but it really sounds like your wife is not on the same page. Off the bat, this just feels so silly. Like a little jokey one, we could be like, ha ha ha, and laugh around and take the piss out of the silly mum for making a silly mum move. I get it. But if we're putting our deep hats on, like, this is more than ramen. Do you know what I mean? It's not about the ramen, it's about what the ramen represents. And whilst you're saying that you're allowing the kids to make their own choices, your wife is clearly not on the same page as you, because she's trying to stop your kids from singing a song and watching a movie that's so, like, positive and wholesome and uplifting. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is no way in which K-pop Demon Hunters can be spun to villainize the message of that story. It is as on the nose, cliche good as it can be. And I can't help but think that if your wife's trying to limit your kids in that way because of something that other people have said in a church group, how else she may also be limiting her kids and allowing that religious group to influence your kids into not making their own choice. And that, to me, it's just not on, you know? I just don't have time for it. I'm not here for that. No. You know what I am here for? Blech. Obviously, you are not the drama. Obviously, your wife is freaking weird. And the drama in this situation. I feel for your kids, and I hope that they are able to immerse themselves in culture and just partake in everyday activity, as kids should be able to do, without the ridiculous tinfoil allegations that something's demonic. My patience has gotten ice thin. Wafer thin, because these are the kinds of people who also try to argue that they can take rights away from other people, standing on some moral high ground pedestal when the reality is they would be on the other side of the honeymoon, if you get what I mean. I think I need to try to get her to go to a different church, because it sounds like she's being sucked into a cult. It does sound a little bit culty, doesn't it? I'm not gonna lie. When someone starts saying to you, don't listen to the hero song of a movie about fighting demons because that good song is demonic, you have to question things slightly. Not the drama, I haven't seen the show myself, but it's literally about fighting against demons, as the title, Demon Hunters, would suggest. By the way, I'm so hyped that they're making a sequel. Netflix has said it's coming soon, and I'm very excited. I don't understand this need to also make a live action, which, I don't know, the media just seems to be doing generally. Just feeds into this like wider issue that I feel, especially in light of this world of AI where everything is just being repeated and made to be easier and more cost effective and more risk averse. So just, But yay for K-pop Demon Hunters too. Not the drama, be careful. She sounds easily influenced, and when people start calling things demonic, it's a real slippery slope. Right, I totally agree with this. That's what I'm saying. We can laugh about it, but the reality is it's a little bit dangerous, you know? There's K-pop demon hunters fighting the goofy little demons who sing about soda cans, and then there's like people actually saying that media is demonic. One is fun and the other one is troubling and genuinely a little bit culty. And the easily influenced thing is my biggest red flag, because I'm like, why have you had to go to a church group to hear that it's demonic when you know that it's called K-pop demon hunters? Like, you were okay with it until these other people have like really manipulated you into thinking that it's like a different kind of demonic. It's just not okay. I mean, both Soda Pop and Your Idol are sung by demons about devouring souls. The Soda Pop in particular is pretty amazing because it sounds like generic romance metaphors, but in the context of the movie, nope, demons see humans as literal food and cans of soda. I love it about the song. I think the songwriting in this is so clever. And you're right, if you're gonna have a problem with a song, it certainly shouldn't be golden. And it wouldn't be any song sung by Huntrix, the ones hunting the demons. It would be the one sung by the Saja boys, as in Saja, as in Messenger of Death, Grim Reaper. Those are the demons. Though, for the record, I would also be worried if your wife was like, no, you cannot sing those songs because the devil will lick you for real. Like, I don't understand that rationing. You are the drama. Why didn't you try to ease your wife's worries instead of belittling her? Sure, she's being irrational, but how did laughing at her help your family, especially your kids and your marriage? I mean, this feels a little bit victim blaming to me. This is like going, well, you're the problem, entirely the problem. Not even everybody sucks here. You are the only one that needs to take accountability because your wife did something absolutely ridiculous and you expressed that it was absolutely ridiculous. How dare you? I'm so silly. I have no time for people today. This is a no shits given episode. Not the drama. Good lord, I've seen many things being called demonic because of modern day satanic panic. Modern day satanic panic. Wouldn't that be a great name for a band? I want that on a t-shirt. Satanic panic. Yoga, acrylics, labubu's. K-pop demon hunters. It is ridiculous. You're telling me. And then these people are the ones thinking that they should be making the decisions on behalf of half of the human race. It makes no sense to me. No sense whatsoever. Drama. All right, am I the drama for letting my ex-husband hang out in my apartment? Interesting. So my ex-husband, 38-year-old man, says OP, let's call him Sasha. Interesting name choice, but cool. And I, a 32-year-old woman, have 2 young kids, a 4-year-old boy and a 5-year-old boy. We've been separated for over 3 years and officially divorced for 2.5 years. I see you. So those kids are from both of you together, and 2.5 years is a long time. This is an established separation, especially for kids who are age 4 and 5. For context, says OP, a year after the separation, I fell in love with Kyle, a 43-year-old man, a mutual friend of Sasha's and mine. Oh, interesting. A little bit risky going into a relationship with a friend of the ex, but I see you. We've been dating since and now live in 2 different apartments on the same property. Wow, interesting. Part of me feels this is really messy, especially because you are living with someone else when your ex is also in the same building, but also it's giving me like, what's that name of that Jacqueline Wilson book? The Suitcase Kid? The one where there's 2 parents who live on like opposite ends of the same street, and I don't know, being a child of divorce. I kind of love the idea of having both parents in such close proximity. I can imagine it being great for the kids, but not great for the adults, providing that the not great for the adults isn't then impacting how the kids feel about it. Do you know what I mean? OP continues, we have no plans of moving in with each other, but we spend a lot of time together on a daily basis. Kyle's an important person in both mine and the kids' life, and we all love him very much. Oh wait, so you don't live with Kyle. You and Kyle live in 2 different apartments on the same property. Right. I thought you were saying that you and Kyle live in one and the husband lives in a separate one. Ignore me. I'm glad we got that sorted. Okay, so we all love him very much. Sasha, not so much. He hates Kyle's guts now. I wonder why. Sasha's got a way of ignoring people that he doesn't like, so sometimes he won't even say hi to Kyle, even though they used to be friends. Again, I wonder why. Now, Sasha and I get along fine. It took a lot of work to get to that point, but it's good for the kids. Yes, it is good for the kids. I'm glad that this mama has like the right mindset. Sometimes when he came to pick the kids up or drop them off, he used to come in and stay for a moment or a while. Kyle told me that it makes him feel weird and uncomfortable. So the new person doesn't like that the ex is staying in the house, but he doesn't live there. Questions. Makes him feel weird and uncomfortable, mostly because Sasha is so hostile towards him. I get that, so I reduce that and I don't ask Sasha to come inside when he gets the kids or drops them off. I find this tricky. I get it. I do understand it, especially if someone's being hostile. Like, the best thing would be if Sasha was just like not being a turd towards Kyle, right? If he was just like there for the kids should feel like they should be allowed to have their dad into their house, especially because it's not Kyle's house. He doesn't live there. But I also appreciate and see that you are trying to compromise and be like, okay, well, you know, if you don't like that, fine, come to the door, don't come in. Okay. However, says OP, today was one of the kids' birthdays and I have to work, but Sasha is taking them on a day trip. I let him in the morning and I left for work before they were gone. I gave Kyle a little warning that he's there with the kids because Kyle has a key to my apartment, and when I'm gone, he sometimes comes in to get coffee or whatever. Right, maybe that's why. Maybe because, yeah, I understand if you're like living in the same, I guess, block, that it can be really easy to just like socialize. I like the fact though that you didn't feel like you had to say, Sasha, don't come in. That's not such a hard and fast rule. You know, you allowed him to do that and be there for the kids' birthdays, and you just said to Kyle, heads up, don't go in that day. That feels like the right priority to order on this occasion. Do you know what I mean? Now Kyle is really mad. He feels like his boundaries are overstepped and says that it's too much that I allow this. How funny, because I just said, oh, I think you did the right thing. So, me and Kyle are at odds. Let's finish the post. To be honest, I couldn't care less who's in my apartment when I'm gone, as long as they don't leave it worse than when they found it, says OP. You sound very trusting. What's between the 2 men doesn't seem that relevant to me. It's something that they need to work out. Am I insensitive here? Sure, Kyle shouldn't feel uncomfortable in or around his own home, but should I let him tell me who I can or cannot let into my apartment? I love Kyle, says OP, and I would never get together with Sasha again, even if Kyle wasn't there. And I'm pretty sure that Sasha doesn't want to get back together since he's the one that left in the first place. I'm just grateful he's making an effort for his kids, and I'm giving him space for that. I honestly think that OP sounds so reasonable in all of this. I said it, I guess that was kind of my badge. Me saying it before, OP was like, well, Kyle has a massive issue with this. I think it's really good that you're prioritizing your kids primarily in all of this. It's not just your house, it's your kids' house too. And if you're going off for work and it's your kid's birthday and Sasha's going to do something with the kids, it makes total sense that he would be in their house in order to do that. And on these one-off occasions, this isn't happening all the time, right? It's your kid's birthday. It makes sense to be like, Kyle, just don't go to my apartment for the day. say, if Kyle lived with you, that would be a totally different story. Kyle can set the boundary for where he lives, but because you don't live together and you have separate apartments, I do think it's a little bit odd in this situation that Kyle is being like, you crossed a boundary, especially because you communicated it beforehand. I think I would understand that anger and that sort of like betrayal to be like, you crossed a boundary, if what had happened was Kyle was at your house and then Sasha came in, or Sasha was in the house and then Kyle came in not expecting to see him there and then saw him there, and then there was a hostile boom, what do you call it, meeting of the minds and of the bodies and of all the things. But that's not what happened. You even went to Kyle beforehand and went, hey babe, don't go into the apartment, Sasha's there, it's the kid's birthday. There are rules, of course, but there are also exceptions, and this feels like a really worthy exception. It doesn't feel disrespectful to Kyle, and it doesn't feel manipulative or wrong on behalf of Sasha or even OP in this situation. So I don't think you're the drama at all. Actually, I'm gonna say no drama here. That's my badge. And if I had to give accountability to anyone in this situation, it would be Kyle. But I'm not wanting to. I don't think that he's in any way like enough of a drama to be called the drama, because he's just trying to navigate his understanding and his world, and he wants to feel comfortable going into his partner's house, which makes sense. If we're thinking about it on that level, then really Sasha's the drama, right? He's the biggest asshole in all of this because he's the one that's making it uncomfortable as to why 3 adults can't just get on in the first place. But then you did go ahead and date your ex's friend, which is gonna cause problems inevitably. So I'm just saying no drama here. If you think about it too deeply, everyone can be seen as playing a little bit of fault. But ultimately, I really do believe you're doing what's right for your kids. I don't think Sasha's doing anything right now to rile Kyle up. Rile Kyle. It's just funny. And you haven't been in any way duplicitous. No drama here. That's my badge. No, why do I feel like I've been controversial? Why does Kyle have a key to your apartment when you're not there so he can make coffee? I mean, I wouldn't see that as a bad thing. It's just like, you know, you share keys. It's a step before you move in together, especially because you're in the same building. Like, that makes sense to me. Also, I think your ex should not be allowed free reign of your home. Sasha is irrevocably in your life as the kid's dad. These two men need to come to some kind of mutual acceptance for the sake of the kids and yourself. I agree with that last sentence, but I don't understand what's wrong with you allowing your ex, especially if you're still co-parents, to be in your house. It's not your ex being in your house. It's your ex being in their kid's house. That's what it is, right? He should be allowed to be there. If the kids want to invite him in, if he wants to hang out with the kiddlywinks, he should be able to do that. They're under the age of 5. It's not like they can be like, oh, well, drama, hostility, yeah, let's go to a coffee shop. So yeah, I personally feel it's a little bit guarded from this commenter, but I do agree with that last sentence. So if he's actually responded and said, it's just kind of how it is. In the daytime, the kids will run around between his and my apartment. Even the neighbor's kids join in. We mostly keep the doors open and everyone hangs out where they want to. It's a lot like living together, but everyone's got their own space where you can make your own rules and throw everyone out that doesn't live there if social batteries run out. That actually sounds so fun. I love the concept of that. Like, we should all just live in apartment complexes with our best friends and open the doors when we want to, and then we want some alone time, we just shut the door and be like, boop, off you pop. That being said, says OP, I have the biggest apartment out of all 3 on the property and my boyfriend has the smallest. Well, all of that makes sense to me. And it also makes so much sense as to why you guys don't live together, because you kind of do live together. You just also have your apart time, which just feels like the best of both worlds. How very Hannah Montana of you. I love it. You are the drama. If Sasha wasn't hostile towards Kyle, I would say that it should be fine, but he is hostile. Why can't Sasha be with the kids in his home or go somewhere? Why do you think the hostility is irrelevant to you? They're your ex and your partner, and it's your ex who first left you, which causes friction. Why don't you feel responsible? I don't get it. I get what they're saying, you know, like if Sasha wasn't hostile towards Kyle, it would be fine, but he's hostile. I agree, but then why is that OP's problem? When there are 3 adults, that's a Sasha's issue. Oh, maybe this comment is trying to say because Sasha's hostile, you should therefore be punishing Sasha to not allow that. Okay, I see it in that regard. However, I also see this as a mama being like, well, I'm putting myself aside and my thoughts aside for the benefit of the kids who should be able to have this open environment, especially if that's what they're used to with like even neighborhood kids coming in and out. Of course they'd want and expect their dad to be able to come in and out. Who wants to have that conversation? Sorry, your dad's not allowed in the house. Why? Kyle doesn't like it. And all of this is feeling very playground because ultimately Sasha just needs to put his big boy pants on and just stop being a dick towards Kyle. And Kyle needs to understand that you're not doing that for Sasha, you're doing it for your kids. Ah, man. OP says, see, that's basically Kyle's point, but I can't seem to wrap my head around it. See, I didn't either, to be fair, OP. Like, as to why you would be the drama, but maybe I do kind of understand it. I just don't agree with it. Being good friends with an ex is totally fine, but him being alone in your apartment and then him being hostile towards your boyfriend, sorry, it looks a lot like jealousy to me. That lack of boundaries will start to affect your relationship. I mean, Yes, I see it. I wonder why I'm not being so sensitive to this. I'm kind of shocking myself. Do you know what I mean? I'm surprising myself in how nonchalant I am to that point. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But like, these guys just need to sort it out. Do you know what I mean? I'm not here for this kind of petty drama. Not the drama. If you and Kyle were living in a shared apartment or house, then he'd have a much better argument. But you don't. If he and Sasha can't get along, then Kyle can stay in his own apartment. Kyle needs to get over the issue, as Sasha will be in your life as their father of the kids for at least a time until they become adults. And Sasha, I will add to that, Sasha also needs to get over the issue he has with Kyle, because Kyle's going to be in the kids' lives for at least the time they become adults, because they're all living together and Kyle is your partner. Like, Sasha needs to realize that. No matter which way you swing the cat, whatever the phrase is, spin the dreidel, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. My point is, I don't see OP as being the drama in this at all. Could OP be a better facilitator? Maybe. Is that what I would advise? Definitely. But in reality, should it just be the two grown men having a conversation and figuring this out for the benefit of everybody involved? Absolutely. Get off your high horses, boys, and figure this shit out. Your parents, for God's sakes. Cha! Alright, the final submission today is from a fellow Peach. A little reminder that if you're a Peach who would like to submit your own drama, or you'd like to help other Peaches out with their submissions, because we sadly can't go through every single submission here on the podcast, then you should definitely get your little butts down to r/1800drama, because it is a poppin' over there. It's a gorgeous little community. For now though, O Peach asks, am I the drama for being upset that my boyfriend didn't text me on my birthday? Interesting. See, this kind of feels petty for a Peach drama, but I'm like, I know there's more to it. Automatically you'd be like, well, yeah, obviously that's dramatic, but I'm hooked. I'm intrigued. Let's see if we can help you out. Oh, Peach. Hi, Peaches and Shaaba. Hi, my love. I, 30-year-old woman, turned the big 30 today. Happy birthday, queen. It's been one that I've been looking forward to, but I'm not one to do big celebrations of myself in general. I hope you had a wonderful birthday, and I hope that, of course, this birthday post, my head has just connected that together. I hope you did have a wonderful day, and I hope that the drama didn't unsettle the day too much. Oh, Peach says, I like a small quiet fuss by means of cake and cards with lots of words of affirmation kind of thing. I love that. I love that. I'm always really touched when somebody gets me any kinds of gifts, and it means a lot when others think of me. All to say, though I applaud a party princess, it could never be me, as I'd probably melt with the attention. I hear you. I see the picture that you are painting. I knew for my 30th that I would take the day off and I would do some autumnal things and do some home spa treatment, as none of my friends or family would be able to do anything mid-week. I have a few things planned for the next few weekends with individuals. That sounds like a wonderful birthday celebration plan. My boyfriend, let's call him Jones, a 32-year-old man, and I have been dating since May this year, so I still consider it early stages. May to October, yeah, I see that. I hope it's going well though. But that doesn't excuse not being able to send you a text on your birthday. If you got together on your birthday's the day after, I would still expect a text. Jones is autistic for context, says Oh Peach. Okay. We text daily and throughout the day as we live fairly far away from each other. We also tend to inadvertently swap days for who starts off the day, which is really nice. Do you mean like who starts off the texting? That sounds really cute. Doesn't that sound really cute to be like, oh, it's my turn. I'm going to be like, good morning, bunny. I don't know why I just called someone bunny, but you know, like, it's cute. I think it's lovely that we both want the other to know that we are thinking of them. As it's still fairly early, I try to make it easy with minimal expectations, and we decided to meet to see a show last Friday. He got us dinner and had brought me a gift that was really thoughtful, all with a lovely card. Ah, so he has acknowledged your birthday. I also saw him yesterday and he knew that I'd have a fairly chill day today. Today being your birthday. I feel really bad, Peach. I'm so happy that you've got a wonderful network of people who love you. It sounds so fun. Your plan sounds so great. You sound so well adjusted to be like, and I'm doing home treatment spa stuff, and you're not like sad because like you get it, people are busy, and a home spa treatment sounds so fun, like a little autumnal schedule of self-care. How wonderful is that? How fun is that to like bring in your 30s? But I am really sad at the concept that on your birthday you felt a need to message on this forum. I'm sorry that 1-800drama had a presence in your life on that day. Oh, it's all coming together now. The title is making sense. So you hung out with your boyfriend, he's hung out with you, and he has celebrated with you, but not on your birthday. It was the day before, and it was last Friday, and maybe you're thinking because of his autism he doesn't know that it needs to be on that day. Is that where we're headed? Maybe I should just shut up and we can continue reading the post. I'm sorry, 1 second. Now again, says OP, I am the one who half the time actively avoids attention. Yay, school bullying. OP, you sound so like cute and endearing and with like the typical streak of British, what's the word? Self-deprecating. You sound endearingly self-deprecating, but like you don't need to do that. So being the first to message anyone today would have felt to me attention-seeking or prompting to others to wish me a happy birthday. I wasn't gonna do it. I see you. I feel you. I got the usual flurry throughout the day and I felt very loved, all except for Jones. Jones, my guy. God, what are you doing? Message Peach. It was 5:45 before Jones texted me and asked how I was. On your birthday. Like a how are you? No further questions about my day, saying happy birthday, hoping that I had a good day, nothing. I feel like this is the barest of minimums. However, I'm trying to rationalize it, that in his brain, maybe he doesn't see the significance since we technically celebrated last week, and he's therefore ticked it off his mental list. But I'm still quite upset. Up late, gotta type it out on Reddit upset. Do I have the right to be? And how in the world am I supposed to bring it up that it hurts without being a total prick about it? Thank you all so much in advance. I really appreciate the work that you put into Shaaba. Oh, and I'm wishing you the best. Oh, shucks. Wasn't this just like one of the cutest submissions? Every Peach right now listening, get your little fuzzy butts downstairs and go and wish Oh Peach a happy birthday, a happy 30th, because you deserve it, babe. I'm sorry that you had an up late, gotta type it out on Reddit upset moment on your birthday. That's not okay. And you are absolutely not the drama. Hang on. No, I maintain that you're not the drama. I am going to call you out though, a little tiny birthday call out for being so self-deprecating. There's people pleasing, right? And then there's people pleasing. And I used to be a people pleaser, and now I feel like I'm a people pleaser, but sometimes I can go into the realm of being a people pleaser. And a lot of this is giving people pleaser. And you don't need to do that, my love, if it's made you upset, and you have every right to be upset. Even if I celebrated with my boyfriend, best friend, mum, whoever it might have been, for every day for a week leading up to my birthday, I would still expect a text on my birthday. I don't think it's being a diva. I don't think it's being demanding. I think it's just acknowledging that on that day, it's your day. It's a kind social norm to do. And I totally hear what you're saying. Like, I don't think you need to be pissed off about it. Like, Jones is not a bad person, especially if it's coming from the fact that he's a little neurospicy bean. I see you. And the whole mental list thing, like that wouldn't piss me off. The fact that somebody has a mental list, I get it. Socializing is hard. The amount of times that I do forget as well to wish some of my loved ones happy birthdays, I feel really bad. And if I do remember, I'm like, oh my God. I'm the person that does the calendar alerts, and I don't understand it if people are like, excuse me, you have to put a calendar alert of my birthday? Am I not special enough that you will just remember? And I'm like, ma'am, I don't even remember to go to the toilet if I'm not reminded and broken out of my hyperfocus. So like, don't flatter yourself. So like, I get it. I don't think that he's doing a bad thing, especially if he's like, oh, my bad, I didn't realize that you wanted the day because I've already said it. But you don't need to be pissed off at someone to be pissed off. You don't need to be upset at someone to be upset. And I do want you to just have the confidence to be like, hey, this upset me. Wish me a happy birthday. And my little call out with so much love and so many birthday wishes is that I wish you had done that and had the confidence in yourself to do that earlier in the day. If you start the text and we're like, hey, birthday queen, checking in, and then your partner would be like, haha, happy birthday. Like, however it is that you text, take up that space, demand that space. It is your day, not just your day, it is like your decade. This is your milestone, you know? And if at that point he was like, oh, we already did your birthday thing, that you'd be like, yeah, but it's today, Weena. Come on, sprinkle me with some love. Send me those little giffies, you know? You're very within your right to set your expectations. And I understand some people are painfully introverted and will not do that, and that is okay too. In light of the fact that you don't do that, you do have a right to be upset that someone hasn't messaged you for a while, and then when they do, has just been like treating it like another day when it's your birthday. And you absolutely have the right to communicate that, because it's only by communicating that your relationship will go stronger overall. And the next time this happens, Jones will be like, happy birthday, queen, because you've now set the expectation, been like, hey, this is what we do. This is what I do. And I would like you to do it with me. And I don't know, I think so much of this is very cute. I don't see this as being a big problem. And I hope, even though it has caused you upset on the day, you're able to put that to one side. You've been able to have that conversation with Jones. He's been able to give you like a cute little hug, and you guys have communicated and done all the wonderful fancy birthday things that makes you feel loved and special again. And you have an entire schedule of more weekends to come where you're having fun birthday plans with all of your loved ones around you. Wishing you the happiest of birthdays, Peach. 30 is very exciting. And next time you arrange a spa day, invite me along. We'll do it together. For some reason, such a digression, I was sorting out our bathroom box of stuff from when we first moved in. Don't judge. As I said, ADHD brain, it just happens. I had this box, like this cardboard box of bathroom stuff, and I was just like, what is in here? What have I possibly not used? And is this stuff still in date and usable? One of the things in there was a boob mask. Like an actual boob mask, you know, like a face mask. I get gifted face masks all the time because I really love face masks. So, you know, like at birthdays and stuff, my siblings and my mum would always be like, here's a face mask of a funny little flavor or whatever. Scent, you don't need them. Don't eat face mask, people. But yeah, I'd clearly been gifted a boob mask and it was in the shape of 2 coconuts and said that it would reinstore perkiness, I believe. I haven't used it. The idea of it is quite weird, to be honest, because they're very cold. I don't know why I'm telling you about this. Yeah, yay, spa days. Swiftly moving on. Thank you so much, Peaches, for joining me on today's episode. I hope you got a little something from it, whether that be entertainment for a short amount of time or expanding your own mindset. I feel like a lot of today was pretty straightforward and that last one really cheered me up. I don't know why. It's just Peaches' writing style and just like their approach to life just felt very wholesome. If you too enjoyed this episode, you can give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you would like to. If you're watching this on YouTube, it super helps me out. Or if you're listening to this on any other podcast platform, remember that you can also rate the podcast out of 5 star ringos. For now, I will love you and leave you and I'll catch you next time. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.